We still have our guests in the studio. Chukwu Ifeanyi Chukwu, an agribusiness consultant at IFEX Global Agri Solutions, and he's also the co-founder of Farm Easy, a farm management and market app development specialist. Now, we've been talking about structures put in place and we're looking outside the country. Let's now bring things a bit closer. We have the African Continental Free Trade Agreements already in place, and of course there are certain aspects of it that are being fine-tuned, but then we now have the issue of some nations breaking out within from the ECOWAS and things like that. So now how do you reconcile the AFCFTA agreement with these breakaway countries? How does it affect us?
Everyone have their issues. The thing there is that in Africa, I would say we still have a lot of division amongst us. We've not understood our strength. One thing is, just like you mentioned, when you go to Asia, you notice how they don't have those currency discrepancies. But in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole, every country is trying to, say, this is my own, and which is not supposed to be so. So what this trade is doing is more like opening that doors that we can be able to transact with our currencies, transact with our goods. Everything is going around, even in tourism, in business and everything. But like you mentioned, in some of these countries, you see, especially the Francophone countries, they still respect the currency going around. Or in Nigeria, the Naira is something that the moment you live here, only a few countries will allow you to do any trade. You have to, even within the Africa, you have to change to dollars or to their own local, which is a big problem. So we have to start strengthening our own economy, which is it's really being strengthened. And like I said, that's why I give it to this government. Most of the things they are doing, why I love them, is they are trying to put structure. If you're somebody who is sensitive to process and structure, you'll be able to benefit. But if you're somebody who is looking for a quick fix, you might not be able to benefit. So by the time they put all these things, like you've seen, they have linked our NIN, our BVN. Your NIN is now your tax identification number. Very good. So all those kind of things, when you're able to be traced through those processes, you can now go to another place and maybe with your card, with anything, you do things, transactions freely. You'll be able to use their banking system or have partners easily. But when you are not traced, like for example, there are some people, even as Nigerians in Nigeria, no data. You can't find their place of birth. You don't know their parents. You don't know their siblings. How do you do business with that kind of people? So if you have that track record, that's why you see abroad, you see somebody very lazy doing nothing. But then, because the system has taken note of their record,
social services can come.
They have access to many things. Even as students, we had access to things as foreign
because
students.
They've taken that record. They have your record in their system. They can trace you. They can trace your background.
Even your health records.
That allows them to give you certain leverages. But in Nigeria here, it's just of recent we started having
the foundation is just being built.
So I think as you are strengthening it, gradually it will start taking shape with other African countries. We'll be able to, free trade will work very well.
We're definitely on the way there. As you've mentioned, of course, with this, it starts with basically with data. We need there's a lot about to do with data, before we can now begin to make.
Even when we're talking about data, even the census, the numbers are still wrong. Yes, the numbers are still wrong. There are a lot of people who we don't know are here, even as big as some of our organizations are. We don't want to mention name, government. They still are analog. You go and want to get data, and the papers are torn, wet,
prone to distortions.
So it's very important for us to look into that data, and that's what this government is trying to do. Make sure if they see you, once they key in your name, they can find out about you, know your address. That's why they tell you, make sure your address matches, so that they can trace you.
And even track you to other countries.
There is this project that I'm part of. It's called IDES TVET. It's vocational agricultural training. And the way the World Bank is, following up with the Ministry of Education, it's data. You must show your source code, your bank. It must rhyme with your NIN and all those things before they will pay you or give you any benefit. So those kind of things, they are very, very important for us in this country. We must be able to have data. Everybody must have an identity with your thumbprint, with your national number. We should be able to track you. That way, if we give you anything, we'll be able
know exactly where it's going and the impact of that thing. If it's even it. Now, this is one word that most businesses may not want to hear: taxation. Current government has really been hammering on this need to ensure that the tax laws are put in place. Do you think that this is good or bad for businesses, especially those who are just starting up?
Okay.
Did you see it as one of the challenges?
For me, it's not a challenge.
For you?
Yes. Based on the knowledge that I have gotten, and I'm going to share that knowledge, because there is a waiver to growing businesses, and those waivers are what most people don't know. So when you tell them register your business, they say, I will pay tax. No, if you're having your businesses, you have up to currently 100 million grace. If you don't transact up to 100 million and you don't have up to 250 million in assets, nobody's going to disturb you. So automatically what it's telling you is that if you want to pay tax, grow. So me, I want to pay tax because I want to get to that level where I'll be doing a lot of numbers to be able to pay tax. If I'm below the tax bracket, I won't be happy, because it means I'm not doing well. So I would want to also get to that level where I pay tax back to the government. And just like he was talking about credit score and all that, it also gives you credit score with the government. When they check your business and they see that you are paying tax, it gives you access to certain leverages with the government, because yes, you can get contracts. If you're going for any contract in this country and you're submitting your documents, they look out for your tax certificate, your tax returns. If you're not paying tax, no one gives you that contract. So these are the things that we should look out for. And then, just like I said, it's not a challenge for me, and it's not a challenge to the youth. Most times we just want to, speculations on the internet wants to create fear so that people will fall off, people will not take interest and all that. But then, if any youth is listening to me, it's not a challenge. They are not targeting your business, they are not targeting you. As long as you're able to defend your business, that it hasn't made up to so amount of money as income, as revenue, nobody's going to collect anything from you, as long as you know your right. And that is also part of the structure, because when we talk about this structure, that we talk about business structure, which includes both your legal everything. You talk about operational structure, you talk about financial structure, you learn your tax, everything. It's part of the structure. If you know you're not good with business knowledge, look for a business consultant. Engage the person, let the person guide you on ways that you can go about these things and ways that you can benefit from them. So if anybody out there who is having a small business is looking at tax as a challenge, the person should change that narrative. Focus on your business, grow it. No small business has grown up to that level, and if peradventure you have grown up to that level to pass that benchmark of the 100 million, that means you are doing well. You should pay your tax and be able to access
give back
other benefits. Then in terms of the challenge, there is one thing I want to point out. For me, there is a joke. The person said, aside from money, what was that challenge? The person said, that money you put aside.
Is this crazy?
So for me, when it comes to money, you are not able to get that finance. You know that, it's very difficult. What do? You position yourself, like Mr. Ichefu said, my friend. You position yourself. One thing I'm doing right now is that, in as much as I am sensitizing the youth about structure, I'm sensitizing them about positioning, I'm sensitizing them about leadership, trying to make sure they understand that you must have these things in place. One thing I've done for myself, because I know that I still need the finance, is that I now start looking at those who have made it. I position myself. When I go into rooms with them, they see my value, I give them value. And most of them, they come back and they tell me, let's work. I want to partner with you. Or they pay me for a certain consultation. Now I'm able to be raising that finance, and I'm using it back into my business. I don't use it to fund my lifestyle. Those challenges that I've been complaining about that I need finance for, what I do is I take it and I put it in there. Like I've been complaining about digital marketing and all that. The money that I'm raising now is channeled to digital marketing. I'm using that to build that space. So if you're complaining and complaining, it will never solve the issue. If you complain, you take note of that complaint, you learn, you find solutions to it. Somebody said, if you have a problem, don't dwell on it. It will only take you down. It will eat you up. Think of solutions. You already have it. If you can't find a way out of the problem, ignore it. It will fade away. But if you dwell on it, it will put you into depression. So what do? You look for solutions. So now I don't just talk about problems and stay on problems. I look out for solutions. And now I try to go into those big rooms, strike deals with those big people, those top players in the industry, collect the money, come back to the grassroots and do my business. And that is how it works.